What have the last couple of days been like for you here, Riley?
It's been a little bit of a whirlwind. Obviously, getting the call and hearing I was coming here, and then jumping on a plane yesterday and make my way here. Got in late last night, and it's been exciting. There's been a lot of emotions come through, but I'm happy to be here and excited to be here.
Have you talked to the coaching staff, and what have they told you about what your role might be here and what they see in terms of your fit?
A little bit. It seemed like one of those things where I'm coming in here and I have a role to play. I'm here to play hard and stir the pot a little bit and be hard to play against, and bring a little bit of that grit to our back end. And then that's what I'm happy in here to do.
Were you surprised at the trade? There was some talk in Chicago that maybe you hit the 100-game plateau, that maybe your game was starting to evolve. Were you surprised?
I was a bit. It was a bit of a shock. I had no idea what was coming through. I was actually sitting on my couch watching some hockey, and boom, traded. And so it's one of those things. It's part of the process. It's part of the culture in our life. And you know what? I welcomed it, and I'm excited to be here again in Vancouver.
Where does the edge come from? I mean, you fought eight times at the NHL level. You fought Burrows last October in Chicago.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that scrap?
It was one of those things. I think I ran Holly there twice in one shift, and he came over and asked me, and I was like, you know what? I'll answer it right now. I don't exactly know where it came from. It became one of those things. Obviously, the element that I bring in when I started as junior, and Dad said that if you're going to hit people like that, you got to answer the bell. So I'm not afraid to back down, and that's all it is there.
Did you cross paths with anybody on this roster in the O?
Not in the O, actually, no. Bo was a little bit older than me. I didn't cross paths with anyone there, so a little different that way.
What about advice? I mean, your father played 1,200 games. You've got a younger brother. How important is that in terms of not just lineage, but getting some advice?
You know what? It's huge to have advice from him. And he played a long time. Obviously, he's coaching now, so he kind of lets me do my thing from playing. But obviously, there's little things that he says in the summertime, especially like making sure that I'm in shape and doing stuff that way. He's been a big part of my game and a big part of why I'm in the NHL.
Do you lean on him for, going through what you went through the last couple of days here, being traded, and sort of how to navigate that?
Yeah, I definitely asked him. He was traded from Calgary to St. Louis. He was traded a bunch of times, actually, but he said it feels kind of like the similar one when I was just about your age, traded from Canadian City to the U.S., and for me, I'm coming home, right? He said just take everything in, take it day by day, and enjoy it. My girlfriend's from here, so I was excited to come home, and she's excited to come home, and we're happy to play on Saturday nights.
You touch on how about the Canadian market and getting in front of the fans here in Vancouver. How much does that excite you?
Oh, it's unbelievable. As a Canadian kid, you grow up, you watch Hockey Night in Canada every Saturday night. It's one of those things where that's when you're growing up, that's what you want to be. You want to play on Saturday nights, and to have an opportunity to do that here for an organization that we have here is so special.
Well, from your point of view of just seeing a team where it didn't look like Chicago was going to be pushing for a playoff spot, now you're with the Canucks here. How exciting is that for a player to come to an organization who is in a very different spot from the one you just were traded from?
You know what? It does. It has a different little effect on things. You come in, and it makes coming to the rink more fun. You're coming, you're pushing, you're trying to be not just competitive, but you want to win every night. And that's what I felt even just from being day one. We're here, we want to win. Guys want to win every night. Today during practice, guys are like, let's go again. Let's make sure we get it right so that when it comes to do it for real, we're ready. So it's an exciting time.
What's your impression of the core group they have here from just watching and having played against them in the past?
They seem like a pretty close-knit group. Obviously, you got some guys that have been here for a while, some new guys that are coming in and through. It seems like they're a close-knit, close group on and off the ice. The guys that want to stand up for each other, want to play for each other, want to win for each other. So I'm happy to come in and hopefully help the team that way.
I saw a quote from me a couple of years ago talking about your game evolving over the next 3 to 5 years was, I think, something in the quote. How do you feel you've done over the past couple of years and still kind of evolving your game in the current day today?
I think it comes as it goes, right? Like I want to continue to evolve and grow and get better, but not take away from my identity and who I am as a player, right? I'm someone that's hard to play against, wants to try and catch a piece of someone on the other team, and so that's something that's the core value to my game, and obviously you want to build on it. You want to grow. You want to continue to grow as a player and as a person. So to continue to work on that every day, to try and bring a little bit, hopefully work on my offense and plays in the offensive zone. That's something that I want to work on and focus on to continue to grow. Obviously not take away from what my identity is, but to take that to grow.
We mentioned the scrap with Burrows last year. Can you take us behind the curtain? What's the first meeting like when you're now team?
He walked over, gave me a high five, and he goes, it was one of those things. It's something that happens. You're competitive, you're against each other, and there's no friends on the ice. And as soon as you get there, and now we're part of the same team, we're brothers, I'm sure we'll probably be going for lunch today. So it's one of those things where there's that competitiveness in that respect, but when you come to the same team, it's like your best buddies.
Weird, the small hockey world, now you guys are partners.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I've one of those things in junior, I fought probably 3 or 4 or 5 guys on Hamilton, and then I got traded to Hamilton. So it's one of those things again, but it's great.